Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, Councilman Brian Knudsen is named the city's new Mayor Pro Tem, and new Sheriff Kevin McMahill is sworn into office, and he'll join us a little later in this show to discuss his priorities for the city. Here to talk about these topics and a whole lot more is our new Mayor Pro Tem, who happens to represent Ward 1. You know who it is, Mr. Brian Knudsen. Welcome, Ward 1, Councilman, now Mayor Pro Tem. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Congratulations on the honor of being named Mayor Pro Tem. That's a big deal. When the mayor is unable to serve in any capacity, it is now the Mayor Pro Tem's responsibility, and you are now our new Mayor Pro Tem. So.
I love this city, and as the mayor and I talk about frequently, it's not about ego, it's not about me. It's a great job to have. Very few people get to sit in this chair, and so I'm eternally grateful to the entire city, the staff, and the council and the mayor for the opportunity to serve better, different.
All right. Well, of course, as Mayor Pro Tem, you still are a council member. You represent Ward 1. For those of you out there not exactly sure where Ward 1 is located, well, have no fear. We're going to show you right there on the map. It's basically the heart of the city of Las Vegas. If you live in this area or work in this area, then, of course, you're in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And if you're a resident there, you're represented on the city council by Brian Knudsen. As we said, we're going to show this back on December 21st. The decision was made to roll you into the Mayor Pro Tem role. So
here I am.
The mayor.
I'm ready to go. The job's the same unless something were to happen to the mayor or she's not available, and so I've been able to sit in on a meeting or two. And other than that, I have Ward 1 to watch over, and I'm happy to do that.
You do that as well. And we should mention that as far as the Mayor Pro Tem, how the process works, the mayor nominates someone from the council, and then the rest of the council members ratify it. And you were elected to serve in that capacity. This is the vote that day back from December 21st. And were you a little nervous? Did you think anybody might say, heck no, he's not for us? But it didn't.
You know what's strange is I don't get nervous anymore. Something in that died a long time ago. Nothing really makes me nervous. My kids make me a little bit nervous.
They tend to do that, yes. Any child, every parent can relate to that. So, well, congratulations. And again, an important job when the mayor is unable to serve in any way. And this can be a variety of things, from running council meetings to making personal appearances. You'll step in now and take care. We should mention that our former Mayor Pro Tem was Stavros Anthony. He's now our Lieutenant Governor. He was term limited out after 12 years, actually a little longer than that when the election cycle shifted a little bit. He'd served for about 13 years. And so he'd served as Mayor Pro Tem for quite some time, and now there's a new...
I think you know me as well as anybody else does, is I prefer to be in the background. And so cheers to the mayor staying on for 2 more years, and I can sit in the background. And if I'm needed, I'm always there. But I like the background more.
And everybody knows that you will be. Of course, the month of December was a big one for the city council. On the 21st, Councilman was named Mayor Pro Tem. And then on the 7th of December, the first meeting in December, we had 2 new council members sworn in. We had Frances Allen Polensky, she represents Ward 4, and then Nancy Bruni, she represents Ward 6.
And I think they're excellent additions to the city council. They're thoughtful, they're meaningful, they care about what they do, so I'm really excited to have them on. And overall, I think it's just it's a great council. Everyone cares about what they're doing, and super proud to be part of that team.
Oh, that's very good. This is Councilwoman Bruni being sworn in with her family there, and very impressive. We've talked, she's been on this program, and she's got degrees from a couple universities named Harvard and Yale. So she's obviously very bright, and she's always obviously been a quick study already. Now, this is Councilwoman Frances Allen Polensky, a former state legislator, and
small business owner. Her husband's a firefighter. She knows the walk and talks the talk and cares about her community.
Yeah,
that's what matters most.
And like I say, they're both quick studies. They have hit the ground running. They've starting on the city council, there are so many things to learn, and you go through all of these onboarding experiences, basically orientations to tell you who does what and how things. It can be very overwhelming, but they have taken it all in stride. And you had the advantage of having been on the staff, so when you came on board, you knew a lot of the players, you knew how things worked. That was a huge advantage. Them being brand new, there's that big learning curve, but they've not flinched.
I have no doubt they will figure it out.
They've done a great job so far. And then, Councilman, also on the December 21st meeting, at that meeting, you honored the Nevada Health and Bioscience Corporation. Tell everybody about that. Health and of course, the medical district, one of your top priorities. The medical district is in Ward 1. One of the city council's priorities is healthcare. And so
the Nevada Health and Bioscience Corporation, NHBC, is a nonprofit development corporation that was formed by several philanthropists in our community with the intent of building up the medical district. The medical school being the first building that went up. They just received $70 million from the state. They'll receive about $15 million from the city to build 2 additional facilities. And we're in ongoing conversations about other mental health facilities within our community, which has a lot to do with why I asked the sheriff to be on the show, is to really hone in on why we need to build out our mental health infrastructure in Southern Nevada. NHBC, recognized at that council meeting, is the group that probably will be engaged in building it out from the physical plant perspective.
And of course, we can see UNLV is represented there as well, and this is a big deal. And I think, Councilman, the aspect of mental health is so important. We see rates of suicide climbing in our population, incidents of post-traumatic stress. So yeah, Nevada, I think, has been a state that perhaps hasn't advanced as far as others when it comes to addressing those issues.
We need to grow up as a state, and that's what Maureen Schaefer, who is the one that was recognized from NHBC, that's what we talk about on a regular basis, is we're ready to grow up now. And that's part of me being in office, that's part of a lot of the leaders currently in office, is let's push the state, let's push the county, let's push the city to grow up and provide the systems that people need in order to thrive here in Southern Nevada.
Yeah, very good. Well, along that same vein, you posted on Facebook, you said today Ward 1 chose Kathleen Robinson, an amazing Clark County School District psychologist, as the City of Las Vegas Citizen of the Month. And that goes along with what you're saying, Councilman. We're going to address mental health regardless of the age of the individual. And Kathleen, there she is right there, obviously helping young children deal with mental challenges.
And Kathy was recognized for training the school psychologist in CCSD. So she's been doing it for a number of years. And I recognized her because, frankly, it's significantly cheaper and more effective if we are dealing with it on the front end with children. Teach children how to understand their emotions, how to manage through their emotions, teach families how to raise children, teach educators how to be around children with issues. There's so much more opportunity if we understand how to do it when we're children. And then we can grow into systems that are a little bit more intense as we get older. But throughout Nevada, we need to build all those systems. Yeah. Kathy's a great example of what we do with children.
And look at the support she got. That was amazing. That was all at the January 4th City Council meeting, the first one of the year. And not only was her family there, but all of those people that you see.
She trained many of them on how to be school psychologists. So they're recognizing her.
That's terrific. Well, good for her, and a great choice. It threw me off a little bit when you said we were going to name Kathleen Robinson, because I've known Kathy Robinson for many years. I didn't connect the dots that we're talking about the same person there. So very well deserved. She's an amazing person, and as is the rest of her family. Councilman, it's hard to believe 2022 is in the rearview mirror. We're on to 2023. One thing I love that you do is you put together an annual report each year about accomplishments in Ward 1. So looking back at 2022, what are some of the biggies that you want to mention as far as things that you got to check off the list in 2022?
So, and the reason why it's my team and I put together this report is most people don't understand what elected officials do. And so I think it's important to kind of highlight what I choose to focus on. So we choose to focus on healthcare, the medical district, the medical school in particular, the build out of that, the $85 million that'll go towards building out mental health care campus, public health lab, and then housing. Dorian from my office developed this housing bill. It'll most likely get adopted tomorrow's city council meeting. Really changing how the city approaches affordable housing, workforce housing, and how the development community can be aware of how they can make it pencil out if the city would provide the right incentives.
Right.
And so that's how we've chosen to focus our time in our office, is healthcare and housing. When we jumped into both of those spaces, we recognized that mental health, behavioral health is the next frontier. And so that's how we'll choose to focus next year. And for everybody who's been a part of my engagement with the city, my time in office, we send them an annual report, and then for all the constituents, we give them an annual report if they ask for one, to say, here's what I work on, here's what I do, here's what it's like to be an elected official.
Well, and that's obviously showing accountability to the people who've elected you to. Right. It's like, well, this is what I've been doing in office. And hey, if I'm on the right track, then let me know. If I'm not, then give me some feedback. What do you think I need to be focusing on more or less then? So
that's exactly it.
Yeah, good stuff. And then, Councilman, we're into the new year of 2023, but there were some big things that happened since you've been on the show last time that took place right at the end of 2022. You had the giving back to Boxtown, the second annual holiday block party. Now, this took place on December 10th. You'll have to fill everybody in. What is this exactly?
This is so impressive. So this is, there's the college named streets right off of Decatur and Vegas. There's a group of guys that grew up there, and now they're in their 40s. They all have reached a level of success, and they want to give back to that neighborhood. And so our role in that is we close down the streets, and they arrange for everything else. So they give away food, they give away prizes. They had Santa Claus there. They give away free giveaways from the UFC because one of them works for the UFC. And so there's tents set up. They're giving away free stuff. They're letting the neighborhood come out and enjoy each other. It's the most impressive thing ever because these guys just want to give back. They don't ask me for a single thing. They just want to give back to the community. So for me, it's absolutely amazing because they said, can we do this? And I said, sure. Wasn't sure how realistic it is because I get a lot of that. 2 years in a row now they've done it, and they've done it flawlessly. Wow. So super impressed with them.
So I get the giving back. Does that area known as Boxtown?
That's what they referred to it as when they were growing up. And so the area, in their opinion, needs a little bit of work. Some of the folks there don't have the access that they've had. And so they're doing what they can to give back to Boxtown. And so impressed with them. And
where is it again, Councilman? Where?
So off of Decatur, between Vegas and the freeway. There's college named streets, so it's like Pennsylvania Avenue and Yale Avenue, Harvard Avenue, and there's probably 15 streets in there, and it's their own little community. And we block off the street right adjacent to the freeway, and it's a giant party.
Well, good
for
them.
Right at Christmas time for people to get out and meet each other and talk to each other and talk about how the world can be a better place.
And these guys grew up there, and now they're giving back to the community. That's awesome.
And they don't ask for anything in return. They just do it.
Kudos.
Great.
Kudos to them. We need more of that in the world for sure. And then, Councilman, I love this too. This is really a cool project. You posted this on Facebook. You said, today my team and I welcome the first of its kind in Las Vegas, a school-based community market at Garside Junior High. Of course, this is a councilman officially kicking the place off. But look at this. This is as nice as any market you're going to find anywhere, and it's in the school.
You know what? So there is a portion of the job where I'm just cutting ribbons, like you see in the photo there. I like the other parts of the job a lot more. So Dorian from my office and I met with the principal 2.5 years ago, and we said, what are those needs of kids at Garside? And she said, they're hungry, and they don't have clothes, and there's all these challenges associated with poverty. And Dorian works with the Just One Project and called them and said, is there anything we can do? And now 2 years later, it's like a market opening up at Garside with access to clothing, access to food, and choice. And what a lot of people don't realize is when they're giving out food, they're not offering choice, and that really is quite challenging for individuals who are taking. They don't have a choice, they're just given. And so this is one of those ways of giving back that provides choice to people who need.
Yeah, I'd rather have this than that, right?
It's much more widely accepted for folks in poverty if they have a choice of what they're eating, of choice of what they're wearing, and they tend to do quite a bit better. So really proud to be associated with the Just One Project and the work that they're doing.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's really quite wonderful, and we need to replicate that model.
Now, Just One is not just at Garside. Just One Project has got a much larger footprint.
They're a food distributor. They do pantries around the valley. They distribute food through Meals on Wheels type programming. They provide counseling. They provide housing. They provide educational support systems. So it's a nonprofit that grew from nothing, and the concept is it just takes one person. And so as I reflect on my time working in our community, it just takes one person to change the trajectory of someone's life. And that's what the Just One Project is about, is one person can change everything for somebody else.
I love that. That's really great. And then, Councilman, you know, right before the holidays, it's a tradition, Shop with the Cop. You posted this on Facebook. You said it was an honor participating alongside my friends at the city's Department of Public Safety, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Clark County School District Police Department, and other officers at Shop with the Cop. And this is a really wonderful tradition. This took place back on December 17th. And just a lot of folks in the community don't have the opportunity to go and just get what they want at the holidays, and this was very nice. You and the police officers provided a really nice holiday for many families.
For my office, we got to do work with 2 families. two families in need, and it's fun just to walk around with kids and go shopping. It's a fun thing, especially if they're not my kids. So
Right.
it was wonderful. And
they knock something over, you're not as stressed.
The families were very grateful and really engaging and thoughtful, and it's a wonderful experience. The Clark County School District puts it on. DPS came out in droves. DPS, the Department of Public Safety from the city of Las Vegas, so really proud to be associated with officers and everything they do to support our community.
And Councilman, we should emphasize that this is all done on everyone's own dime. The officers are paying for this themselves. So
everybody has to chip in.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes a huge difference, and as you saw, made the holidays obviously very bright for some deserving children. So, and then Councilman, before we run out of time here and need to bring our guest on, we want to let everybody know you have a Brews with Brian coming up January 26th at the Tap House there on Charleston. This is from 5:30 to 6:30 on the 26th. That's a Thursday. Folks, this is a great way to just come and meet the councilman informally, talk with his staff. You usually have somebody from Metro and some other jurisdictions there as well. And if you have a neighborhood concern, if you just want to get to know the councilman better, if you want to network with your neighbors, these are great opportunities.
It's my favorite way to engage.
And we're doing it over your favorite beverage versus coming down to the formal city hall.
Let's talk about our shared values, shared concerns, and let's work together on it.
Yeah, you get a great turnout at those, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's
super fun.
That's wonderful. So January 26th, everyone, 5:30 to 6:30 will be the next one. We hope you can stop by and say hello to the councilman and meet his team. Well, Councilman, as promised, we need to take a short break here, but when we return, new Sheriff Kevin McMahill joins the show to discuss his plans for the Metropolitan Police Department. That's next, so please stay with us.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration.
An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you. Have a career that really means something? Then do it. I dare you.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Welcome back, everyone. Kevin McMahill was officially sworn in as the 18th Sheriff of Clark County. McMahill succeeds now Governor Joe Lombardo as the new head of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. He joins us now. Sheriff, thanks so much for being here. You've hit the ground running in 2023, and I know Councilman considers you a major partner of ours, so we're thrilled to have you on the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I would just say to the sheriff, and I've said this to him, but I've said it to a lot of people, is there's very few people in the world who I would consider leaders that I would follow. And I kind of just carve my own path and do my own thing. The gentleman sitting next to me is someone I would follow. You do an amazing job of inspiring people. You bring people together and you force change. And that's what our community needs right now. I talk about it, and every time I'm on the show is our community needs to grow up, and I believe this is how we do it, is in partnership, and you're just a great leader.
That's high praise. That's
yeah,
high praise.
It is. It's high praise, and he's somebody that gets a lot of things done. And we've already started partnering. Even before I took office, we took a trip down to Arizona to start to figure out how we can work on mental health and homelessness together. And gives me a lot of hope for our future and our ability to work. Plus, I hear at Brews for Brian, you're buying the first round.
I buy all the rounds. That's how I make friends.
All right, I guess I'm coming.
That's why we get a good turnout. Sheriff, you are new to the position of sheriff, but you are not new to Metro. Talk a little bit about that. You'd served with distinction in the department from patrol officer all the way up to now sheriff.
Yeah, I started off in 1990 as a police officer here and worked my way all the way up to the top non-elected position, which is the undersheriff. I did that for 6.5 years for Sheriff Lombardo at the time. And, you know, we went through a lot during that period of time, to include 1 October and the Bundy Cow incident and riots and so many other different things. And while we can always improve on our responses, I'm pretty proud of having led the men and women of Metro for so long. And now I'm extremely grateful to the community for electing me in the primary election. But all that really means to me is that we have a duty, a responsibility, and an obligation to get to work to make this community more safe than it's ever been.
You know, Sheriff, that is so well said. People, I think, often when they'll run for an elected office, they'll regard getting elected as the hard thing. But as you both know, the hard work begins actually when you get elected, not getting elected. It's doing the job once you're there, and it's not easy.
I think you and I have had that exact conversation on more than one occasion. Is, you know, you've now arrived, but what are you going to do with it in this short period of time in history that you have the awesome responsibility to actually lead? Do something with it, and I think we're both committed to doing that, and I'm excited about what the future looks like.
You know, one thing that is important, I do a number of ride-alongs with Metro. I enjoy it. I try to get out at least once every couple of months.
Yeah, you do.
It helps you understand what's going on, what's real and what's not real. Politics are not real. So you ride along with police officers, you see what's going on in the streets, and here's what I think. The cops now are a lot younger than they were 10 years ago. A majority of them that I ride along with are well under my age, in their late 20s, early 20s. And I think the workforce needs a strong leader that they can aspire to. So that's, they need that. And I think you're that guy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have a son and a son-in-law in the police department, as well as, you know, a 6,000 member strong agency. And it is true that about 75% of them have less than 5 years on in the patrol division.
That's amazing. Has it always been that way, Sheriff?
No, I mean, it kind of ebbs and flows, but just, you know, look, we're also hiring right now. About 300 budgeted unfilled positions that I'm trying to recruit to get people at, and as well as my dispatch. I'm severely understaffed there, and so come one, come all, we're hiring, and we need all the help we can get and get a chance to make a difference in this community. And team up with Brian and the councilman and I and make a difference in the way our community looks here in the next few years.
Sheriff, explain to everybody, and I know, Councilman, this is something that we deal with all the time. Jurisdictionally, Las Vegas has some quirks that other cities don't have. We don't have the police department under the city of Las Vegas as we do in other cities. Explain, talk about that, both of you, about how we ended up. Metro is funded by both the city and the county, and you have jurisdiction over both, which is different. I'm not aware of really very many models like that anywhere in the country.
You just said it. They're a jurisdiction that's formed with a partnership between the city and the county. We jointly fund 60-ish% from the county, 40-ish% from the city. But what I found is the city and county have certain responsibilities. The police department has certain responsibilities. And I think for too long we've been divided in how we approach those. That's how I think of the world is the county's their job, the city's our job, Metro's their job. But there's so many things that are overlapping, and I think it's coming to a head right now. I think you can feel the pressure on Metro, you can feel the pressure on the jails, on the ERs. And that's where there's opportunity between the city, county, Metro, and pushing on the state to do a better job of what the state should be doing. So yeah, we city county fund Metro with an elected officer that oversees the operations of the Metropolitan Police Department.
Sheriff, historically, how did that come about? What took place? It's been almost, 50 years ago that occurred?
Yeah, in 1973, we merged the City of Las Vegas Police and the Clark County Sheriff together, and it's much like anything else. There were jurisdictional issues. You know, the city's fighting against the county, and really they had the wisdom to join the police department together. You know, they've looked at doing that with the fire departments. It lessens your overall overhead responsibility and chiefs and sheriffs and all those kind of things. But we are the only police department in the country that is a merged police department between the city and county that has an elected sheriff over the head of it. There are other merged agencies, but usually the chief of police is appointed. And the good part about that is it allows me to run the police department. I certainly have a tremendous amount of respect for the other elected officials from both the city and the county, but it also gives me the opportunity to run the police department the way that as a law enforcement professional that I think it needs to be run. I listen, I get input. They certainly are not shy about giving it, but I get to make the decisions that I think are in the best interest of policing our community, and that's been very successful for us.
Sheriff, tell us some of your priorities. You're coming into the new job. What are some of the things that you want to make sure gets done in your first 4 years?
Well, you know, when we're talking about policing, everybody wants to know about crime and what are you going to do about crime? And you know, I know how to fight crime. And what a lot of people think is you lock them up and throw away the key. That's really not the most successful way to do that. The most successful way to fight crime is to get into those communities and build relationship. Because once you build relationship, you build trust. And once you have relationship and trust, people in the community become partners in fighting the crime. I've seen that happen over and over again. We're also focused, as the councilman and I are really focused in on how are we going to make a difference in mental health, addiction, and homelessness. Because as we've said before, the jails are overcrowded with people that are mentally ill and addicted, and incarceration is not fixing any of those. And then finally, I would say probably the other very large thing I want to accomplish in a very short period of time is this wellness bureau for the police department and the fire department and a number of others, that we focus in on the heart, mind, body, and soul of our police and firefighters and take care of them in a markedly different way than we ever have. Because if we do that, they're going to take care of this community in a markedly different way than we ever have.
And we've talked about this. We know, we see from our own fire department, other fire departments, other police departments, the incidence of post-traumatic stress, of suicide, very high, especially when you have a young force that's out there seeing a lot of difficult scenes on a daily basis.
Yeah, those first responders go through a lot, and it's time as law enforcement leaders and elected officials that we acknowledge that and we do something to take care of them.
I think I've told you before, my dad was a police officer, so my entire childhood was in the back of a police Bronco. So that lifestyle, I understand. I knew it as a child growing up, and I think it is incredibly important we let first responders know that we support them. We have to do it over and over and over again because you don't feel quite supported when you're out on the streets.
Yeah.
Sheriff, we have just a few seconds left. I'll give you the final word. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks again to the community for electing me. I won't let you down. I look forward to the partnership with you, Councilman Knudsen, and the rest of the council, and the two newly elected council folks, and Alan Polinsky and Nancy Bruni. And I think there's a lot of great things on the horizon for us as we move forward, and thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well said. Well, folks, we always want to hear from you out there, so if there's something you'd like to share with Councilman Knudsen, you can always find him on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact him by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov, and here, one of his great staff will get right back to you. So, Sheriff McMahill, thank you so much for being on the program. Well done. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll have you on down the road, maybe get a progress report from how you're doing at Metro. And Councilman, we'll have you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 1.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
A lot going on between now and then.
Always.
So, thanks to you both. And folks, don't miss our next show beginning on January 26th with Ward 3 City Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire, and watch for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. Also, don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around.